Hello, I am the 3D printing lawyer, and it's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Time to hang the Christmas lights on the house. My partner has said this year that I need to 3D print some hooks because what's available on Amazon sucks. These are designed for very specific gutters that I've never seen and definitely not what's on my house. We've actually ordered two of these, this one, and they did not fit. I'm going to go outside, take some measurements, and start designing. Look what I found at the top of the ladder. If we don't see the mom and dad around, we'll throw these in the incubator. One thing I'm noticing while up here is that our gutters are kind of dirty. I'm going to measure this distance. One benefit of recording what you're doing is that you don't have to write them down. I'll measure the top side. This distance is 16.1, and now I'll measure the front side. And that distance is 30. And now the metal is bent here at a 90-degree angle, and I need to measure the thickness of the bend. Our last measurement is going to be 4.9. I brought my contour gauge up and measured the outside contour, but it seems to be overkill here. I've started by transcribing the measurements onto this drawing here. I also measured the thickness of the sheet metal. I don't know if it will be relevant, but it's 0.8 millimeters. I'm going to drag this over to my second screen so I can refer to it, although I know you guys can't see it. So I'm going to first name my file. It's going to be gutter clip, or at least that's what they call it on Amazon. I'll create sketch. We'll do it on the ground plane like I usually do. I'll select the line tool, and the measurement we need is 16.1 millimeters, and then 30 millimeters. I'll drag this dimension to the outside. And we're just drawing the outline of the gutter so that we can interface our hook to that surface. So now we measured, this goes down 4.9. And then we also measured that it went in, or we couldn't measure, we guessed this went in about 5 millimeters. If we looked at the picture of the gutter, and we looked at our sketch, this is actually rounded here. So let's go ahead and create that. And since we basically want to fit a circle in between these three lines, there's a tool for that called 3-tangent circle. We'll just click here, and then here, and then here. That's what we want. And then we don't really want these segments anymore, so we're going to break those lines. And to do that, we'll go to Modify, Break, and it's going to show us where it's going to break right there. And then here, and I'll pick the Select tool and delete these. I'm using the mouse scroll wheel here to zoom. I guess we really only want half the circle too. Let's go ahead and break that as well. All right, that's the profile that our hook's going to need to go onto. There's extra distance here, obviously. It probably goes to here. Let's go ahead and offset this. With a construction line, we'll call it 0.8. How do we want to engineer this? I think we want to wrap around this. So we'll probably wrap around this, go over here, drop down, and then have our clip right here. All right, so let's do that. We are going to want to offset it for tolerance reasons. So let's offset our profile so far. We're going to probably need 0.4 since that's our nozzle. Let's go with minus 0.2 on both sides then. That's how we'll start it. I guess we should have done this one too. I'm going to turn off construction lines for actual edges of our part now. This could be the edge of our part. Let's go ahead and change them from construction lines. Not this one necessarily. And then how thick do we want our clips? Let's go ahead and create the other side of our clip. With offset again. In the previous version of Fusion, you couldn't offset an offset. You can now, but with some restrictions. Sometimes it's easier just to do a second offset of the original line. We'll just offset the original one, but we have to add that 0.2 in. So let's say we want our hooks to be about 1.5 millimeters thick, which will probably be thick enough. Looking at the size and thinking about it, no, let's do 2 millimeters instead. And then let's round this edge. For that, we can just do the 3-point arc like in my last video. You can also do it with a fillet. I'll show you how that works. The fillet kind of makes these angry dimension lines all over my page, kind of getting in the way. You click drag with the middle mouse button to pan the page. I'll draw this line another 2.2 millimeters, and then down. How far do we want to take these down? Probably at least as long as the top, so 16.1 maybe. And we need to finish this part right here. So if you want to line up with a line on the drawing, you just quickly go to it and then go off of it. And it'll make this dashed line. And you know you're aligning them. I'm sucking at it here, so I'll just draw this line first. I'll just connect the last 2 points here, and it'll complete the profile. I measured the thickness of the wire on the lights. The thickness of the light wire is 3.1 millimeters. I'm not going to add in any tolerance because I want the wires to be tight and basically snap into place. Hopefully the plastic will flex a little bit and let my partner get the wire in there. Let's go ahead and make an arc here. .1 millimeters, and we can offset it 2 millimeters to get the outside arc. Alright then, if the wire's 3.1 millimeters, we probably would go up a bit higher than that, so maybe twice that at 6 millimeters. Then we'll want to round this edge. Again, we'll just do the 3-point arc for that. And that should be our clip. Now we just select our profiles. I could delete that line that makes this 2 profiles, but I'm just going to leave it there and select the multiple profiles. Now I'm going to solid and extrude so that we can add our third dimension, thickness. And then right there I did shift and then drag the middle mouse button so that I can see better, although I know how much I'm going to extrude. Distance of 2 millimeters. Alright, so are we done? I don't think so. I think we're going to want to add a fillet here. It'll make that bend stronger. We actually don't want that big of a fillet here because it needs to interface with the only slightly rounded edge of the gutter. All right, I think that should be good. I will 3D print this and show you what it looks like in the next video.